coming into my my talk here. And I've been here for a few years, so it's nice to see some familiar faces and meet some of my old friends from IFP. So today we're going to talk about something that a lot of people don't spend a lot of time on. And we're going to talk about the future. Now I say that people don't spend a lot of time on it because what are they mostly spending their time doing? They're focusing on right today, right? And that's fine. You got a lot of things to deal with, and, on your phone or whatever. But it's a real mistake not to think about the future. I went to Edmonton about 12 months ago, and I was at this business group, and I was talking about this, and I just innocently mentioned Uber in the middle of my talk. And it was at a taxi company, and the owner of the taxi company stood up and he went on a complete rant about Uber and how horrible it is and ruining his business and stuff. And I can appreciate that he was angry about it, but later I went back to my hotel room and I realized, oh, there was another thing that he was mad about, really, the real thing. We probably wouldn't admit it, but what do you think he was really mad about? He didn't think of it himself, right? Here he was, he worked for like 40 years building up this taxi company, and and he's like worked really hard and everything, and then some kid comes along and invents this app or whatever that is, and suddenly his business is worth half as much, and this app, Uber thing, is worth $50 billion. And he's like really mad about that. And I go, yeah, he never thought of that, because he was so busy just thinking about today and all the stuff that was going on in the taxi company. So this is what I see going on over and over again in every industry, including yours. We're all focused on what's happening today, and we're not even thinking about what might be just around the corner that might have a big impact on our lives. So this is what I want you to just take a little time here for this hour to think about the future. How does that sound? Is that okay? All right? Okay, good. And then what I'm going to share with you is some of the things I've learned since I haven't been here for the last few years. I went off and wrote some books, so I'll come back and show those to you. But there's certain things that people are telling me about their business, in the financial services business. And one of them is that there's a lot of pressure on the fees and the commissions that you guys are making. There's a lot of pressure there. And all of this is caused by the global network called the internet thing. The internet. It's causing a big, pressure on that. So I hear this just from talking to you guys this morning, saying it used to be a lot more fun to do this business, not so much fun now, not as much money in it maybe sometimes, right? The second thing is that a lot of the fees you charge are now much more transparent. So the clients are kind of saying, well, how much money did you make? And then what did you do for me in order to justify making that money? And a lot of people really don't have an answer for that. So all of that transparency is making it harder to kind of explain why they should work with you. And that's the third question. People might ask you, and they might be thinking, they never ask you this, but they may be thinking, why should I work with you as opposed to somebody else? And you might go, and most of the people I deal with in your business, they don't really have a satisfactory answer for that. If they do have an answer, it kind of sounds like what everybody else is saying. And I call that penguin talk. Like all the other penguins in your industry are walking and talking and saying the same thing as you. So you haven't answered that question yet. Right? So they're going, I need to figure that out. The other one is, and this is really a big one, is they're saying, look, in all this regulation, government, they're really coming down hard on us. I know you all tell me this. And it's not very fun, right? It's very time consuming. And a lot of people are thinking, how could I just shift over to a business where I just get paid a fee for all the stuff I know and all the knowledge I have and the help that I give people? How could I just charge them a fee for that? Just like a regular consultant might do. And if you were to do that, you could get out from under all of this regulation. I use a little analogy which I'll get into, is that you're kind of in a hot dog business. You're selling a commodity, And it used to be okay. Like you could sell a hot dog and make a good profit. Didn't take very long to do. But now, you get paid less for selling the hot dog. It takes a whole lot of time. There's a lot of paperwork to fill out, right? And then you're obligated and liable for that sale for a long time, maybe your whole life. So it's not so much fun selling the hot dogs anymore. And then the other thing, which is sort of the elephant in the room, is to say, well, what about this robo-advisor thing? And that's kind of a catch-all phrase, right? Robo-advisor, what does that even mean? But it's technology, right? What's going to happen with technology? How is it going to affect what we're doing? And one of the things I keep hearing is, you know what? People will always need a person, a human being to help with their money, to buy insurance, right? They really need that person, right? And I go, okay, well, that's wishful thinking. Because usually they say, well, I always need somebody to book a flight for me, or buy something for me, or go to a store and buy something. Well, all of those businesses now have been disrupted by technology. So in the future, especially younger people coming up, they're going to buy things without dealing with a human being. That's going to be one of the options they're going to have, and they're going to be perfectly fine doing that. So therefore, what does the human being do? How can you still be in business when you're competing against a bunch of robots? And that's the science fiction part. You know, I get a reaction when I give my talks. I've talked about this to lots of different groups for about 100 times, and I get 3 reactions. About 10% of people are very excited about this. Think, yeah, we got to do something about the future. 60% of the people are kind of zoned out. They go, I don't know, the future, that's sort of science fiction. That's not really anything to do with me. And then about 30% of people get really angry. They're like the guy at the taxi company. They get really angry. That's the worst response, frankly. Well, at least they're awake. That something's going on. Most of the people are just kind of zoned out and say, well, I hope, it's fine. Everything's fine. No big deal. Right? So I think that that's not a good thing. So I'm hoping you guys are the 10% that are thinking about the future. What are we going to do? That just having the regular thing is not going to work anymore. So those of you who don't know, my company's called The Big Idea Company. And since we started it, we've worked with about 2,000 financial advisors in different formats and guises. And we've learned a lot from that experience. Some of you are in this room. So what you guys tell me is, for the bottom line, is you do a lot of great work with people, but oftentimes you get dragged down on the fees. Like people are shopping around, they don't want to pay any more than they want to. So it's kind of frustrating. You tell me you don't have a marketing plan. Hardly anybody has a marketing plan, and yet you really need one. Think of how am I going to get more clients? You don't know how to necessarily communicate your value to people. You want better clients. All of you would like to get some better clients. And you want to manage more assets and sell more insurance as well. So those are things everybody's telling me. So my suggestion, and I'm going to use my words, is that you become a new economy advisor. And I use the word new economy because we actually are in the new economy, and every day going forward will be more and more new compared to what was in the past. So if you want to be relevant going forward, there has to be a different way of doing things. So that's really what I'm going to talk about. So how many of you have heard my lobster story? Maybe I should. How many of you have not heard it? Okay, good. So more than half of you haven't heard it. So it's fair enough that I tell you the story. Okay. Some people say, tell me again. So the way to understand what I'm really trying to tell you is going back 40 years, I worked at the Keg restaurant as a waiter. Okay. And they had this contest to see who could sell the most lobsters. So people would come into the Keg, they'd buy a steak, and they wanted the waiters to try to get them to buy a lobster, right? So they said the best way is just to ask everybody if they want to have a lobster, right? So what I did was I just said, would you like to have a lobster with your steak? And most people said no. After 3 weeks, I'd only sold 4 lobsters. I was in last place in the contest. And the last place person was going to lose their job. Okay? So I had to be fast on my feet and think, well, what could I do differently? Something else. Right? So here I was, there was this moment of truth where I can't keep doing the same thing. I got to do something else. Right? So I did. I tried something else. And I ended up winning the contest, and I sold 1,400 lobsters. The second person sold 90 of them. And all the waiters and the managers were saying, well, how are you doing this, Bill? And I said, no, I can't tell you, because it's a contest. I can't tell you how I did it. Right? And I never did. I never told anybody. And I forgot about it. I just won the contest. Forgot about it. But many years later, I was telling somebody about this, and I realized, well, that's the moment where I started going on this path in my career. And I wouldn't be standing here today if I hadn't been working every day and sold all those lobsters. So I thought that was kind of a big moment, right? And I ended up writing this book called How to Sell a Lobster. And it was a really successful book, and a lot of people read it. A lot of you here read it. And people really like it. It's just a short little book. And it's because in that book, at the beginning, I tell people how I sold the lobster. So those of you that don't know, how many would you like to know how I did that? Okay. Well, I'm going to tell you at the very end how I did it, but you can maybe guess by the end how I did it. Okay? How did I sell 1,400 lobsters? Because you're trying to sell your lobsters. What I'm going to talk about here is going to help you do that. Okay? So, but we're not going to be able to do it unless we do something differently. So imagine what it might be. Okay? Somebody knows, don't blurt it out. Now, what I promised to do before I came back here after a few years is that I would write a sequel to this book. So those of you who read How to Sell Lobster, I wrote the sequel. It's an updated version of it. And there's all these new things that Mark and Mike from the book are going to teach you about what to do in this marketplace that's different. So like 15 years later, if you want to read the sequel. So I wrote that. And then I wrote the new Economy Advisor. And that's really what I'm here to talk to you about. Is that how do you sell lobsters today? Financial service industry is different than even 5 years ago. Now you're going to have to do something different to remain relevant. Okay? So if you want, right? If you want to try this. Now, I'm not asking you to change anything, because people get freaked out when I say, well, you should change something. I'm just going to suggest you add something. Much easier to add something than to change something. So I'm not here to talk about change. I'm here to talk about adding something. Okay? And I wrote a couple other books too. Big Idea Anthology, which is a compendium of my different books. That's kind of interesting. My son, who's here, helped me put that together, Douglas. And then I also wrote a book called Going to the Net, which is about psychology of life, really, based on some experience I've had playing tennis. So just wanted to tell you what I got there. But let's get into this a little bit. So based on that lobster thing, there's a few things that you could do right away to make your business better. And we're going to talk about 4 of them in the time I have. Okay? So the first thing is got to stop being salespeople. So the worst thing you can do in this marketplace is for someone to think you're a salesperson. And this is a real problem in your business because you guys make your money by selling something, right? Okay? But that's not why people want to be with you. They want to be with you because you're an advisor. So it's a bit of a catch-22. You're an advisor, but you're making your money by selling something. That creates, in a way, a conflict of interest. So we want to get past that. We want people to definitely not think that we're a salesperson. Like imagine if a lawyer came to your door, knocked on your door and said, oh, hi, I'm Joe the lawyer. And I'm across the street. If you need any help with your legal stuff, just come across. Here's my brochure. Just come across the street. Nice of Joe to be so entrepreneurial. But what do you think about Joe? Think Joe's a good lawyer? No. You think like, well, why is he knocking on a door? Like, he obviously doesn't have any clients.